Hello, I am Terry Ann Porter, and I am leading an online study of the book Precious in His Sight, The Transforming Power of Seeing Yourself Through Jesus' Eyes. It's written by Theresa Ingram. She is the wife of Pastor Chip Ingram of Living on the Edge Ministries. What I'm doing right now is, after the discussion, doing a short recap so that if you could not join us in the live discussion, you can still follow along in the book and hopefully begin to transform the way you look at yourself so that you are seeing yourself through Jesus' eyes. And then previously, I talked about the introduction. This is about chapter 1. It is titled Wonderfully Made. And she starts out with the story of a friend who asks, "Am I pretty enough?" Ladies, is there ever a time that you haven't asked that question? Have you asked yourself often, am I pretty enough to go to meet this person, to join this group, to participate in such a way? Am I pretty enough? We search for beauty in the eyes of others. And we believe that, she makes a comment here, I believed that being beautiful would make me loved and wanted. And then have you ever fixed yourself up just thinking you look so great, only to walk in and be treated like a nobody? And what that does to your feelings of value and worth. We are surrounded with images of what the world says a beautiful person should look like. And it isn't at all how God defines beauty. Some of the things that was brought out in our discussion. On page 33, she says, if we're defined by our beauty, every wrinkle, gray hair, and extra pound makes an attack on our identity. The more we focus on the culture's image of beauty, the less we like ourselves and all of our imperfections. With this, our own bodies can become idols. Have you ever considered it that way? Seeking physical change can become an obsession. And now she wants to point out, and I think this was great clarification. Please don't misunderstand. I'm reading from page 34. There's nothing wrong with making ourselves as physically attractive as possible. It's fine to want to improve our appearance with the clothes we wear, the color of our hair, managing our weight, but none of that makes one iota of difference to the beauty God has placed within us. It has no effect on our value as His children. That I thought was just so powerful to be reminded of. Did you notice that our physical appearance is not mentioned in the creation account? But God does say in the creation account, and it was very good. God is saying, my creation, your creation, is very good. On page 36, she says, so God wants us, His beloved people created in His image, to stop viewing ourselves through the eyes of the world. The deceiver wants to give us the impression that we are unattractive and unworthy. Those feelings are not coming from God. He wants us to see how much He loves us, to know that we are precious in His sight. For even if our bodies are filled with imperfections, He sees beauty in us that will endure for eternity. A key truth that she points out, my physical appearance is beautiful to God because he designed me. He created me just the way he wanted me to be, and I am his precious child, created in his image. She tells a wonderful story about a woman who brings her baby to the office. Now, in this large office, many children were born, and the women would bring the babies in for everybody to ooh and ah. And she tells a story about one woman whose baby had some difficulties, some deformities, some issues. She brought that baby in just as proud as all the other women with the perfectly healthy babies. She didn't hold back. To her, that baby was beautiful. And that's how God sees us. That baby was beautiful to that woman because that was her child. We are God's children. He sees us as beautiful. Read the story. She tells it much better than I do in a recap. She points out, whether a woman is glorified on the cover of a magazine or hidden away in an unglamorous job, she is beautiful. And that is something that we have to be reminded of, because we often forget that. We look in the mirror, we look at the commercials, and we see something not good enough. I need this to make me better. I need that to make me better. No, we don't. True lasting beauty flows from a heart filled with God. Our outward appearance, she says on page 46, doesn't reveal who we really are inside. God knows our hearts, our character, our intentions, our desires, and our priorities. That has nothing to do with how attractive we are, but it's what matters for his purposes for us and for this world. And I love how she points out to us on page 47, it's human nature to notice appearances and make some assumptions about a person that we see on the outside. God doesn't rebuke us for that. He just wants us to look past it and see the real treasure inside a person's heart, just as he does. Proverbs 31:30 reminds us, charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. No, outer beauty doesn't last. We get older, we get wrinkles, we get little gray hairs, we gain weight. But we are beauty. It's what's in the heart where our beauty comes from. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on who you are? Or are you focusing on that image that you see in the mirror? We had some great discussion on this chapter. And I love how she says on page 55, adorning our bodies appropriately to enhance our outward appearance is something we do for the world's sake. But adorning our hearts with character and purity is what we do for God's sake. That is what he says is genuinely beautiful. I want to encourage you, next time that you look in the mirror, take a moment to just look at yourself and thank God for the way he has made you. You know, years ago, I don't even remember what kind of a pencil it was, some kind of a wax pencil that we could write on a mirror and it would easily wipe off. We could, use a cloth and Windex it and wipe it off. But I used to write on my mirror words of affirmation. And I want to encourage you, if you don't want to go looking for that pencil, put a Post-it on there, Post-it note on there. Get a 3x5 card. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror, have those words of encouragement posted so that you can remind yourself that you are beautiful. You are beautiful because of what flows from your heart, not because of the reflection in the mirror. I can't wait to go on to chapter 2. It's titled Transformed, and I'll come back to you after we have finished our discussion. Until then, keep reading Precious in His Sight and looking for that beauty within yourself. That is what God sees.